There's so many Congo Wars in this alternate history called the Monarchism. I changed it to the Monarchist Lord to the Monarchism now because Monarchist Lord is too much. Doesn't really make sense. So yeah, Monarchism it is. With having enough of Leopold II's brutal lead of Emperor of the Congo, they revolted. Now making it like no Leopold and see this as and declares war, starting a rebellion lasting till the end of World War One. Now, Congo rebels in 1896. They weren't ready to make a war. No, not in this territory. Make a full active war. Big areas of the Congo, but then they get pushed back by Congolese forces. They get pushed back to there. Then they get pushed back again, but then they capture the coast, making them not being supported by any Europeans. Some Europeans who were about to support the Belgian accidentally supported the Congo rebels instead, helping them and crushing Belgium. Now the Katanga rebels. The Katanga rebels are used to fight Belgians, and creating them were defeated. Now, listen, they used captured South lands, and after capturing them, the Belgians fought back them, and then they peaced out and ending the war with them. And this is circa 1907. The Belgians managed to fight back, but then with the support of Katanga, they failed, and now we're in defeat and demise. With the starting of World War One, the Belgian fire wouldn't think, and the Austrian Empire with the Austrian Northeast Africa decided to help the Congo rebels, making them wanting to invade. So now here we are, circa 1915. The Austrians get pushed back because of British troops, but then they take a little streak and the Belgian gets surrounded by these. If it wasn't for the British and the French and the Germans who helped them as well. With the greatest fights and the invasion of Rwanda and Burundi, this was a fantastic help. Literally fantastic. Now with that out of there, they kicked out the Austrians and now took Katanga on its own hands. Managed to capture the coast again and then take them down. The Congo thing. And then in 1917, they decided to invade them and the British to invade Katanga. If they're using their forces, the peace treaty, the Ottoman Empire could have this. The British could occupy this. They would have it till 19. The British would sell theirs. The Germans would sell their. The Belgians would invade the Germans in 1940 during World War II, and the British would give theirs to the Belgians in 1945. But then, It's not the end of it. Rwanda and Burundi became there were no more colonies, no more. Now, due to this, now we have a civil war starting in the 1960. The Congo, with a C, not a K, started to rise up with Patrick Lumumba. And this is their normal place. I mean, this is their normal place. Now, with Patrice Lumumba. Now, with that, Katanga started to rise up again. The British worried since they have wanted to have it, but then they will have a war but then they would have a war with allying with the Belgians again, and they didn't want to have a big war since their empire was declining, so they just chilled out. But that didn't stop them with the Rhodesian War. Or you can say the Bush War. Yeah. Rhodesian Bush War. Instead. Now, 1962, the Katanga rose up. They rose up. This time, Katanga got involved in the Bush War. They've done peace out with them. Now, if the Congo's supporting the Zimbabwe Rhodesian Front, now was their time to move. Supporting Zambia, and this, they didn't like it, but then with Patrice Lumumba getting his lands back, this would see as a win. But then the Belgians had to attack, and they attacked hard on Katanga, making Katanga a weak nation. Now they had to join. Now they had to join Zambia, which, now led to a great war. Now they invaded hard, which made Zimbabwe, Rhodesia take most of the lands, and now united as Rhodesia as the peace treaty, Katanga as a whole. But then that didn't stop for the Civil War to continue. Being supported by Ian Smith, the Belgian Empire started to fight till fascist guerrillas rose up. Now making this one slide. Then communist forces again rose up. Now making the country force split. Patrice Lumumba now being identified as a communist. Left as being president of the Republic of Congo, became the general secretary. Under this, to more advantages took up land till this, and the communists sieging any place. And the last Belgians had no choice but to either go to the Central African Republic, the unstable South Sudan, which is still controlled by Sudan, or go to the in Uganda, which they would be met by Prime Minister Idi Amin, and Idi Amin does not like colonists, so they left. And then now Congo was split into three republicans. But guess what? The monarchists actually had a plan. They actually went through the car and went through Republican, so they could actually be monarchs. That's what the House of Habsburg did, and other troops. Since the Habsburgs since one of the Habsburgs was in there. Now for this, the ultimate civil war starts now. The communists, which this would have been the first communist country in this war, but there's no countries. They took down the fascists, and then the communists were winning till Belgium and Austria supported the Republicans, and now you're screwed. Guessing you weren't going to live that long. During 1874, it's over. The National Congolese monarchy led by a Habsburg emperor. Now, what if other fronts lived? What if Belgium kept control of the Congo? It would still be a Belgian colony. Yeah, but what if the Katanga, the Congo, and the Austrian Empire, the Congo would be split? What if the Belgians win? Well, they'll keep the Congo. What if the fascists win? It'll be a dictatorship allied to the Russian Empire. What if the communists win? It'll be the first communist country with no help. But they would start thousands of revolutions. But thankfully, those didn't happen unless you wanted them to happen. Well, that's the end, and I'll see you next time.